to the Sega Does Podcast, episode 23. I'm Sam the Pixel Dude, and alongside me, virtually to my left, as always, we have Dylan Cornelius. How are we doing, Dylan?
Guten Tag. I'm recovering from some sort of cold, so if my voice is less cheerful than usual, that's why. It's not because I'm annoyed. I'm just got some junk in my throat.
You got some nerd flu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
bird flu, but a bit nerdier. Right. So, what have we been playing lately, Dylan? Have we been playing anything that hasn't been involved in the Sega Does quest?
Mm, well, I beat Katamari
Really?
Damashi.
What, the
Yeah.
original?
The original.
Wow.
Yeah. It was amazing. It makes me want to play all the others. It was
Yeah.
really fun. And now I started on Lego Lord of the Rings, which
Oh my gosh.
I bought for $5 on a flash sale or something on PSN, and I'm really surprised at the
Yeah,
amount of uh, detail they put into that.
really.
It feels very big for a Lego game,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's any other Lego game, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Get to play all the hobbits and
Yeah,
all the other
The
characters.
Lego games are interesting. I can remember getting the very first Star Wars one for the
That's right.
Xbox
Yeah.
and being quite impressed. And then my son's had a few. He's had the Avengers one or Marvel
Mm.
superheroes. That wasn't too great. I didn't think it was very. I find them very complicated for children.
Yeah, it's weird because they're easy, so kids can play them,
Mm.
but there's a lot to do.
There's a lot of controls,
Yep.
like
th-
inputs. Like what you're trying to achieve isn't necessarily that complicated, but
Right.
the amount of inputs you have to put in to achieve that is pretty complex, really.
Right. And depending on the child's mindset, I could see them getting upset if they just want to go through the story and
Yeah,
not
yeah.
take all these side quests on because it's
Mm,
like I've never seen side quests in a Lego game until this one.
no.
So I was just
Oh,
yeah, I was just kind of surprised.
we must be wrong because they sell like hotcakes. So
I like them.
yeah,
Yeah, I like them.
yeah.
Yeah. How
What have I
about
been
you?
playing? I've been playing a bit of NBA 2K
Mm.
15, which looks amazing. Apart from that, not a lot. I've been really tempted to get into Bloodborne.
I was gonna ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously if you listen to the last podcast, I've kind of fallen off the keeping up with the Joneses bandwagon in the gaming universe. And but my brother's been playing Bloodborne. I've been watching him thanks to the power of the PlayStation 4. And he wouldn't say it was an amazing, really interesting game if he really didn't uh, believe it. And
Mm.
I hate going by it, but the Metacritic average is stupidly high, and the reviews for it coming out are great, and it just seems really different. I've never played a Souls game, but I know for some reason I know an awful lot about them just from absorbing podcasts and looking around the internet. I know exactly how they play, what kind of game structure there is, how they like all the tricks and horrible things they try and do to you.
Yeah.
They've never really intrigued me that much before until this one because it's the pace of it is lots faster. Um, it's really quick. Dark Souls, Demon Souls, all those before were really slow, methodical things. Even if you set your characters up as tanks, not like the opposites of tanks, it was still slow. But this is really quite fast, almost Bayonetta-esque
Hmm.
movement, which has made me interested. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I the problem with the Souls games is not that I actually think they're quite fascinating, and
Mm,
also I would like to, if I ever had a week that I didn't have to do anything, maybe
mm,
give one more of a shot because
yeah.
I've played Demon Souls for a few hours, but that doesn't even begin
No.
to
No.
plunge the depths, and I don't have that kind of time to spend
Yeah.
on those games
And
anymore.
and going on what we were saying last week, they actually seem like an adventure. You have to play the game
Right.
to get
Yeah.
involved in it, and it just seems like a world that if you do like just push the internet away for a bit, you can really feel like you're having a true individual, like immersive experience in it because they are just so nebulous and so they just don't hold your hand at all, which is
Yeah,
really brave, but also really endearing and something I love in games. And it just looks like a good adventure, you know?
yeah, those are all too rare, and that actually
Yeah.
brings me to my next point, which is I wonder if I'm sure the game is good, but I wonder if it's not so much that it's that it's not that like it's great, but it's also thank goodness there's a game to play on the PS4, right?
Yes, there's been a lot of misses.
Because and I mean even Bloodborne has its load time issues,
Hmm.
but I mean we can all look past those if the game is great.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just wonder if that's a little bit of what's going on because
Mm.
I'm just surprised that Dark Souls 2 came out what a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
It wasn't that long ago. I hope they don't turn this into one of those annual franchises.
Yeah, it
Really do.
sounds though as if this was like the A team's actually been working on this since the original Dark Souls, and
Oh,
Dark
okay.
Souls 2 was kind of like a point five team, if you know what I mean.
Gotcha. Like
Um,
Obsidian and BioWare type of thing.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
BioWare develops the first good game and then
yeah.
Obsidian comes in and
Obsidian, like,
picks up the slack.
yeah,
Yeah.
digs a little trench. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Anyway, let's go back 28 years.
Mm,
Mm.
that's a long time.
Now,
Uh,
talking about Bloodborne, it's probably one of the most technically impressive games out there at the minute. Would you agree?
Certainly for the consoles.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Now, back in '87, one of the most technically impressive things you could probably see was Afterburner by Sega in the arcades.
Yes.
And today, our first game is that technical super scaling masterpiece for the Master System.
The F-14 Tomcat. Caged lightning with million-dollar missiles and a Vulcan 20mm cannon. You'll need every ounce of firepower this plane can offer for your current mission. Command headquarters let you know this morning that the enemy is building airfields and bases all over the desert. They're protecting those bases with squadrons of their best interceptors. Your job is to take out those bases. If you have to knock down a few enemy planes, so much the better. Just you and your F-14. With a good pilot, it's holy terror. With you, it should be unstoppable.
Yes.
And
Masterful mistake. Yes.
now, if anybody knows Afterburner, which I'm pretty sure people do, but basically you're a jet and you fly around and you blow stuff up, and that is it.
Yeah, there's nothing else. It's
No,
just that.
it's just that. But for the time, I can't. Do you have a date for the actual arcade release? Because I don't.
I would say if not 87, then late 86. I think they really rushed this bad boy
Yeah,
to the Master System.
yeah. It was extremely impressive using Sega's patented super scaling technology, same kind of stuff that was running Outrun, stuff like that. Basically, they applied it to a jet fighter flying shooting game. It had many cabinets. One of the most famous ones is the one where you actually sit in and it rotates around you, which is amazing, as seen in Terminator 2. Uh,
Yes.
when they're in the arcade, John Connor applying his military skills early in Afterburner. So I think we can safely say that Sega is basically responsible for saving the world when Armageddon hits and the machines take over. If it wasn't for Sega training John Connor, we'd all be dead. So, you know.
I like that. I like that
Just saying.
logic.
Just
Logic
saying.
train.
No.
It's good.
Anyway, so the actual arcade game itself, I'm not a fan of it, but I can understand why people like it and why it was such a success. The Master System version is broken beyond belief.
Yeah. It's well, is it broken or is it just Afterburner without the amazing cabinet? Because that's how I felt.
Really?
I feel like Afterburner was just not that great of a game.
No.
But when you have the cabinet, you're tricked into believing that because you're rotating and you're, flipping around, you're like, this game is amazing. I don't know what's going on, but it's great. But then you take that away and you're like, what is up with this game? This is awful. It's like it's like a child on ADD. That's what this game is. You're playing a child on ADD who can't focus.
I was going to say, there is no focus in this game.
No.
You can't. I would say it's pretty much impossible to direct your shot.
Yeah, I mean, you can direct it.
Yeah, but it's like scatter shot, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
over there, no, over there, no, over there. Not, oh, take that one out top left, that bottom right. It's just not very accurate.
No, and one of my issues that I'm starting to have with a lot of Sega games that I've noticed, or at least Sega shooting games, is your fighter will get hit by a missile or something, and you're like, I thought that missile was over there, but apparently it's right up in my face.
Yeah.
Now, like, what's up with that? And I've noticed that there's another game we're going to talk about that does that today, and then another one I just played. I'm going to post a review probably later today. But anyway, so Sega really didn't get the depth
No.
right for a while as far as their shooting games went. But they were well, not so much with this game, but some of the other games, they're experimenting with 3D technology, whatever, kind of forgivable. But Afterburner, even if you take away some of its negative elements, it's a very average game. There's just not a lot happening. It's just not a lot going on.
No, I agree. I've always thought it was just kind of, oh, you like this, really? Okay, well, I can see why, but there's no depth to the gameplay at all.
No.
It does have a nice box.
One of the better ones.
It's actually an image rather than a drawing or a horrible sketch or just a square. It's got the arcade hit banner across the corner, which is pretty cool.
That is cool, and it's nice that Sega could throw that on there and kind of give them a little bit of a boost, maybe.
Arcade at home. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do people think about this? Then we've got Alex. Oh my god, Alex
Krasny.
Oh. See, a lot of these names you can't say without an American accent. Yeah, Krasny. It said, I really dislike the US game boxes. That white and blue grid just looks lame. This is a weird thing. I'm supposed to be all the retro guy, supposed to love everything retro, and everyone always goes, oh, look at those Master System boxes. They were a piece of art in their time. I actually kind of always thought they looked crap for that reason. The whole grid thing. I don't like the grids.
No. I think if done well, it could have been like a series, like when Nintendo first came out and they had those black boxes.
Yeah.
Like if they would have done that for a handful of Sega, like Sega hits or something, who knows? I don't know. But if they would have done it for that, it would have been like, oh, we look back on those fondly, as opposed to, oh, this wireframe crap again. Like,
I don't know whether like Sega like bought a roll of lined, like a few tons of lined paper from someone cheap, and they just need to use it. And they just print it on top. It almost smacks of something like that. Oh, we got this cheap print. We can't print color boxes because that costs too much. What can we do? We could do a little grid. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these box art I'm sure is just due to limitations. You know, they
Mm.
just didn't have like, what's your budget for box art? Oh, $5. All right, well, let's try and figure
Yeah.
something out here.
I'm just looking down here trying to find some different commenters. We have Brett Brown here. It says, I think Afterburner was just too much of a big hit for Sega to ignore. I don't think I knew of a single arcade from back in the day that didn't have one. And that's true. Even here, I can remember an Afterburner
Oh,
being around.
absolutely.
You know, they were pretty everywhere. Sort says he enjoyed Afterburner on both the 32X and Saturn, and that's another thing. Afterburner, like as in the true arcade port, got around as well. It's in lots of Sega collections, ports, stuff
Mm,
like that.
that's right.
It says, but for a quick blast, due to its relentless pace and sheer hectic chaos, it is just chaos. This game really is. 90s chaos in a cartridge. It's really crazy.
Yeah, that is true.
Score we gave was a C.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you could make an argument that it's a bad game, but I really don't think it's bad. I just think it's kind of there. It's not really, it doesn't really do anything. There's some annoying bits to it, but really it's
Mm,
just kind of there.
yeah.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
so that's Afterburner. Not bad.
that is.
Not bad, but it's more of a historical footnote than a legendary piece of art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The cabinet is the piece of art.
Yeah.
That's really what's it.
Yeah. Wonder how many of those are still working.
Oh gosh, I'm sure they gave up on most of them. Has to be. I mean, it was $1 back when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
You know.
That was the incursion of the pound to play games. It was they were hard to persuade.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so next we have Zillion II, the Tri-Formation. Now,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't play much of this game because I didn't get past the bike stage at the beginning. 'Cause
Oh, the bike stage.
it was
Yeah.
so hard. I'm not going to say it's up there with Battletoads, but it's not far away. So I didn't really play much of this, if I'm honest. I tried, I really did, but so you're gonna have to give us a quick summation of this one because I ain't really got much to say.
Okay, well, yeah, the original Zillion uh, was not like Zillion 2 at all. Zillion was kind of an action adventure game where you explored this base one room at a time, and each
Mm,
room had traps, and you had to,
a bit Metroid like.
yeah, a bit Metroid-like, kinda. I really felt like it was very much its own thing, but
Mm,
it wasn't as hard as Metroid. It wasn't as puzzle,
no.
based. But anyway, but it was very distinct, and I thought it was one of the better games for the Master System. I actually still think it is one of the better games,
Mm,
which is kind of sad because it's been like a full year, a full year's worth since we reviewed that one.
yeah.
But anyway, Zillion 2 kind of goes more for the arcade style
Right.
console game. There's two types of stages. There's the stage you couldn't get past, the scrolling bike stage where you're on a motorbike and you've got
You can jump.
you can jump and you're shooting at what appear to be Fantasy Zone type enemies, which
Yeah.
is really strange. And yeah, it's really easy to die. It's really easy to get hit, and you have a life bar, which is nice. So it's not like a one-hit kill,
Mm,
but there's still a lot of you kind of have to memorize where stuff is, I guess.
mm,
Um, and once you complete one of those levels, then the game starts to alternate
mm,
between standard platforming stages and the vehicle shoot 'em up type stages.
mm,
So I personally thought I liked the vehicle stages. I thought they were challenging, but I thought they were fun
mm.
once you kind of got the flow. But the platforming is just boring. It's really, really boring.
Right.
I mean, it's just you basically scroll left to right, shooting guys that just literally will fall out of the sky. And I felt like one, it was very cheap because the second the guys see you, they start shooting, but you don't have any sort of reaction time. You can't
Right.
shoot them right away because they just fall out of nowhere. So, but beyond that, beyond the difficulty, it's just not
It's not
there's
great.
just not a lot to do. And
All right.
so they're both challenging. Both sides to the game are challenging, but the shoot 'em up portions definitely are more interesting, especially when you can transform into a robot.
Oh.
Once you can collect like a certain amount of icons,
Mm.
and you transform into a robot, which is good because you have more power, but it's also bad because you're bigger now, and so you get hit easier and that sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So it's it's not. I think the platforming really really weighed it down. I think it
Mm.
could have been like a B minus, with good decent platforming, but
Yeah.
with other than that, it's just kind of a generic sequel. I'm actually
Yeah.
bummed that they didn't
I was going to
do
say,
more with it.
I was expecting them to do more. Like, what could this have been like? Really, truly, the Metroid equivalent with Zillion II, but it just didn't happen, did it?
No.
No.
And the anime that it was based on only aired for a year. So my guess is
Ooh.
the reason Sega rushed this out is because they had the license, and so they're like, well, we may as well make use of it while the show is on the air or still popular or whatever. So
Mm.
that's my guess. I think it was a rushed
Yeah.
game. But
Oh well.
yeah.
Okay. So next we have a game that was definitely not rushed. I think personally, anyway, because
No.
this this was a challenge. Um, and you'll know why when we say it is Zaxxon 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Now, Zaxxon. I love that name. It sounds like a gas company or something, doesn't it? Zaxxon Prime, the best for your automobile. Right. We have Zaxxon 3D now. Zaxxon, very famously in the arcades, was a big moment in isometric gaming.
Yeah, it was like the introduction to isometric gaming,
Yeah,
pretty much, right? I mean,
yeah, pretty much. And we have played a pseudo bastardized version on the SG-1000,
oof, really bad. Yeah.
which was kind of impressive and kind of train wreck both at the same time. Now, I must say, the Master System has done a much better job.
Yeah, this game is way, way more enjoyable than than I think even the original arcade. I didn't really care for the original arcade.
No,
Uh,
this is like the original arcade was true isometric, like a perfect three-quarter view as you imagine isometric. This is more of a third person. This is more behind the ship and you're flying
right.
forward. There is a very slight angle. Lord knows why they changed, like just like a very slight, like 5 degrees. Don't know why they did that, but they did. Um,
Something to do with the 3D.
yeah,
I'd gather.
probably. Um, but as you can guess, this game is very technically impressive for the time. Basically, you are flying in 3D. basically, I mean, it's not 3D, but it is 3D. Um, it's very impressive.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to actually play it in 3D? Because I know you have 3D glasses. I didn't know if you got a copy of the game or not.
No, I haven't got
No.
a copy of the game for the glasses, unfortunately. But I did play it,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. Uh,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, is this one of the games you wanted to mention where they struggled with the perspective a little bit though?
Yep.
Yeah,
They did.
yeah, because the very first time, like for the first, I don't know, minute of the first level, you're flying along in space, just open space, and you're shooting things, and then the level comes towards you, let's say, and you're just about to fly into the level, and the very first thing I did was smash into the side of the level.
Yeah.
Yes, because my plane was at the wrong level. 'Cause it just looked like it was going to fly in, but it wasn't. It just smashed into the first wall. Um, that was a little bit hard. The perspective was a little bit hard to gauge.
Yeah. And really what I struggled with wasn't so much in the when you're in the corridor,
Mm.
not so much there, but when you're before that, when you're in space and you're obviously with the three I have the 3D glass. I have the 3D glasses and I have a supposedly a TV that should work with them, but either the 3D glasses or the TV
Oh,
something is issue because
that's a
when I
shame.
put them on, there's a bit of stutter, so it's like I'm seeing double. But it's different. It's weird because it's still better than if I wasn't wearing the glasses at all, and it's
Right.
playable that way. So it's kind of weird,
Interesting.
but um, anyway, I still enjoyed it for what it was. But I did notice that I'd shoot a enemy ship, and it would look like I'd hit it, and
Mm.
then they wouldn't explode. I'm like, okay, that's really weird. And the same thing would happen with me, where I was like, oh crap, like I'm about to get hit, and then their projectile just avoids me, and somehow because of the 3D, because I'm not seeing it properly, I think. But even then, I kind of question that because I mean, shouldn't in theory, like it doesn't really matter whether it's 3D or not. Like if it shows your ship getting hit or your projectile hitting an enemy
Yeah.
ship, it
Yeah.
should, in theory, make them explode. So I don't know. Like it just seemed a little weird, but
Yeah.
nevertheless, this game is much better than Afterburner,
Oh
and
yes.
uh, you know, I won't say that I like thought it was a great game, but I did feel like it was certainly an impressive first game, first 3D game that they released.
Yeah.
I mean
I
that's
mean,
that's
it is a
huge.
technical showpiece first and
Right.
foremost, but the gameplay doesn't lag that far behind.
No.
It's not the Order 1886. It's more hmm, trying to think of a good. I can't think of a good equivalent now. Um, but anyway, it's I quite enjoyed it. Good sound. I enjoyed the sound.
Yep.
Uh,
Soundtracks are getting better, I've noticed, even in
they
games that
yeah.
I don't
Well, they
like.
get a bit crap in a minute, but
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So
It's
we
a it's a solid game
yeah.
for sure.
So it's a B minus.
Yep.
Yep. Let's have some thoughts on Zaxxon 3D. We have Garrett. The problem you had here is exactly the same one I previously mentioned. What's that? Flashions? How do you say that?
Oh, he's talking about a previous comment that he left where
Right.
he had some flicker with
Oh, right. Okay.
the disk system, Famicom disk system,
Oh,
3D
okay. So it must
glasses.
be a kind of a common thing. What else we got here? Sam says Zaxxon 3D is a slower shooter, and after playing R-Type, this game was almost too slow to pick up and suffer through till the more difficult sections appear. That's true. It is a slow-paced shooter.
Yeah,
That is mainly because I mean, the original Zaxxon is slow,
right.
but I think the main reason is the graphics that are happening, and they want you to look at them and appreciate all the hard work they put in. and they're going to take their time about it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. Now, the next game, some people would say, is really good looking as well, as they would the first two incarnations in this franchise. But Fantasy Zone: The Maze has rubbed me the wrong way again.
Oh, this game, I don't even know. Like, I thought I enjoyed it for what it was, but there's something about it where I kind of didn't see the purpose to it. Maybe, like why is this? Like I understand that. I think one of the comments in this review is, if they would have made a Fantasy Zone 3 with the same type of gameplay, it would have been too much. Well, yeah, that's true. But that doesn't mean they needed to do this, like
No.
this. And I don't know. Like I gave it a good score.
You did.
A relatively
I'm
good
just looking.
score. So it's not that I didn't like it.
Mm.
I just, like, upon retrospect, like as I'm thinking about it, it just feels like I don't know. I guess the only thing that I can say is yeah, it's fun enough. That's what I said. It's fun enough. And that's
Yeah.
really the best way I can put it. Because, I mean, you go into it with low expectations. I didn't know what to think of it. I didn't know what it was when I first turned it on.
No.
But, I mean, it's not horrible. And it's certainly not, if you don't like the typical Fantasy Zone games, there might be something here. But Sam, I'm curious, what didn't you like about it?
Well, I don't like maze games for a start.
Okay.
What I was hoping for is, I remember when I got Kirby's Pinball.
Yeah.
And I knew what Kirby was, and this was like, oh no, Mum and Dad have got me the wrong game. And it's like, and they put it in, and it is brilliant. It was fantastic, and it completely blew me away. And I thought maybe this is gonna be like, oh, they just took the Fantasy Zone franchise and made a really cool maze game sort of thing out of it. But it's really slow.
Yeah.
It's got right. I found a description that describes what the style of Fantasy Zone is to me.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Feel
it's
free.
J-pop meets Teletubbies.
Okay.
And I don't like that. So
who can we give credit to where credit's due for that one?
I thought of it myself.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. No, I was thinking, what is this? Come on, I need a way to describe this so people can understand my pain. And it's J-pop meets Teletubbies. It's just, I don't get it really as well. I don't quite understand it's kind of Pac-Man based. Like you gotta collect orbs, but then there's enemies, and the enemies can kind of freely move around, but they can't, and it's just it's too much. They've tried to apply the rules of Fantasy Zone to like a Pac-Man style game too much. They've taken it too far.
Yeah, like with the upgrades and stuff.
Yeah, and you've got upgrades. It could have been really cool, but it's not. Personally, and I don't like the art style and the colours. I mean, the colours are amazing, but they just don't work for me. Really, it's just no. I didn't enjoy.
Yeah, I just felt it. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see those, and you've never liked the series, so I'm not really surprised you didn't like this one.
Stupid shit.
Oh, come on, man. You can't hate on Opa Opa.
Is that what it's called?
Opa
It's
Opa, yeah.
see, no. Now, is there anything else you want to say on this? Because this next game's got really nice artwork.
uh, no, I'm good on this.
Okay,
This is
right.
solid.
So next we have Parlour Games. It's Wii Sports meets 8-bit 87. No, it's 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 I'm not going to say a mini game collection because it's not really a mini game collection. It's a collection of what we would call over here bar sports.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
bar sports. Yep.
you, yep. People don't understand that good. We have darts, billiards, and what's the other one? Bingo.
Bingo, but
Go.
it's not your standard bingo. It's
No,
forget what.
it's some kind of really complicated, stupid bingo that only
Yeah.
you can only play when you're drunk. Right. Now, the best thing about this game is the menus because we have some semi-scantily clad ladies 8-bitly drawn up running around. And it's great.
So are you implying that you're the target audience for like
Yep.
say
This
bubble
is
bath babes and for the Nintendo and that
that's
sort of
me.
thing?
That's me.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I
Well,
always
the
wondered.
well, the actual games themselves, I didn't think were too bad either.
I hated darts. I
Right.
liked pool
Right.
a lot, quite a bit anyway. Bingo, I could have cared less.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And then you've got the Playboy bunnies without the ears.
Yeah,
So
that's basically
that's
what they are.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I love well, the best thing about Parlor Games is the Japanese box art.
Mm.
You've got these like seedy guys. I mean, I can see Robert Redford in the background there, Jack
I
Nicholson,
was going to
and
just say Jack Nichols.
yeah, and maybe Christopher Walken,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
And then the guy could be Sean Penn or Brian Ferry from Roxy Music, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's funny. There's a Playboy bunny on the front.
it's true. They probably couldn't do that here. Well,
Mm-mm.
I think it's funny because in Japan it was called Family Games.
Family games with that
Family
cover.
Games.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Kind of family.
well, the kind that you don't walk away from too easily,
No.
I imagine.
Yep. Welcome to
So,
the family.
yeah.
Here's a master system.
So okay, real quick,
Yeah.
did you like darts? Did you figure out how to play darts?
No, I'll be
Okay,
honest.
good.
No, I like darts. I play darts.
Right. In real life, darts
Yeah,
are fine.
because I'm British, got to do something British, ain't you? So I play darts. And no, I was really looking forward to playing it. I'm going to go back and have another go. But
Yeah.
the pool was really good. I was impressed.
Yep.
The bingo I couldn't figure out, so I could really only play one game. So Parlour Games for me is really a really good pool game.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
really good. No, I couldn't figure darts out, unfortunately. I probably agree with your C minus. It's about
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's just really not much to say. Sean says that I didn't figure out darts and that this is one of the most realistic dart simulators he's ever played, which would explain why I've never figured it out because
Right.
I didn't really expect Parlor Games to have a realistic pool sim or dart simulator.
No.
But it appeals to some people as it appealed to Sean, so that
Yeah.
that's good enough.
Yeah.
Um
But lots of very bland games this week. It
yeah,
happens every now and then. We do
well,
apologize if this is your first taste of the Sega Does podcast.
games
Uh,
with promise, I think, is the problem. Zillion II had promise.
Yeah.
Zaxxon 3D was by far the best game we
Mm.
looked at, and I really wanted Fantasy Zone: The Maze to be better than it was.
So did I.
Yeah.
There is one more game to talk about. We'll just mention it quick. There is a combo cartridge which came out after this, which is two games we've looked at before, which is Astro Warrior, which is awesome, and Pitfall,
No,
which I
wrong.
can't quite remember.
It was one of the first Mark III games we looked at back in the day.
Oh, what is it? I can't remember.
It's like a very generic, basic dungeon crawler. Very, very
Oh, yes,
basic.
yes, yes, that's it. Dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have keys in it.
Yeah,
Yep, yeah, that's the one.
and you have to collect a certain amount of items to take to the princess, and if you don't get them all, she'll reject you and you die.
That's right. That's the one.
Yep,
I remembered. Sweet.
just like in real life. Yeah.
Brilliant. And Astro Warrior is a pretty good space shooter, I think, if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Not really.
Did I like it? I'm pretty sure I liked it.
I don't know. You might have. I thought it was lacking in content. I think this was the one you liked. Actually.
I think I liked it, yeah.
Yeah.
Just beat it. Yeah. I like easy games. Everybody likes easy games.
Well, especially the older you get, right? I mean,
I ain't got time for that crap. Just want
I
to
know.
beat it.
I don't have time to be challenged anymore.
Yeah. So, let's mention the Patreon, because we haven't done it for an episode or two.
The Patreon.
Yeah.
So, Sega has a Patreon,
It
as does everything you enjoy on the internet has a Patreon now. So I understand why. It's true. I just can't believe it. Like the worst timing with the Sega Patreon, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Anyway, for a mere couple bucks a month, I will send you a letter saying how awesome you are, and for a few dollars a month, you can choose a podcast topic
Yeah.
that you want to hear. $10 a month. You know what? Just go on there. Check it out. Check
Yeah.
out the Patreon. It's just patreon.com/Dylan Cornelius, or you could just click on supporting Sega on the. And now why do we have to do this? Well, we don't, but eventually we will, because Saturn games don't grow on trees, and they really are hard to find anyway. They're just hard to find. And if I'm doing every game proper, that means I'm going to have to look for the Japanese games, and oh my gosh, spending thousands of dollars. So any amount covers that cost. And I tell you, the sooner the better, because the sooner I can start buying these things, the less I'll have to worry about them. Because I mean, it sounds like, oh, it's far away. It's 7 years away, and there are quite a few games in between. But let me tell you, we're almost a year into this blog, and that's we're nearing the beginning of the Genesis.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot left to go, but it's it's going to take some time. And if we don't have the funds we need, then this side of the blog's just going to be slow, which that's just the way it is, I guess.
And nobody wants that.
No. At least me and you. I don't know about anybody else.
I just wanted to make sure that everyone that has patronized themselves has been mentioned so far. So we have
yes. Good
Eric Dame Marshall.
Yes.
We have Martin Sutcliffe. We have Glenn Wickman.
Yep.
I think we settled on Wickman, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, that's his name.
We have Sean Clements and Nathan Whalen. I think it's Whalen. So thank you to those. Everyone that
5
gets
awesome patrons.
They are very good. And it's getting up there. And we got a few bucks a month now, which is pretty good.
Yep.
Subscribers are growing, comments are growing. Thank you for commenting, everyone. It's nice to see the conversations that go on, not just between us and you, but you and things like that. It's nice to see. Twitter, where can people find you, Dylan?
People can bother me at the Dylan on Twitter. People can tweet at me and do whatever. So I don't go on there as much as I should probably.
No,
but because I don't know,
you're on there quite a lot.
Well, compared to you, I am.
Oh, yeah. I
but
suppose, yeah.
but compared to a lot of people, I just see them post every day, like
But see,
a
you're
million
you're
times a
too
day.
busy doing reviews like you should be. You see, not wasting
Too busy
time on
living
Twitter.
life. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Why did you
anyway,
choose this life?
I Sega Life chose
Oh,
me.
yeah, yeah.
So where
You
can they
did.
find you, sir?
Oh,
Where
you
where
can
are you
find me
at?
at the Pixel. Oh, hello. My phone's going on. We should. I was just going to mention it has been a year. Probably next episode. A
Hmm.
whole year. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'd like to wrangle up. I use the term wrangle because I am American. Wrangle up some Sega enthusiasts.
Mm.
Maybe get them on here, and I don't know who.
What do you think
Just
Yu
people.
Suzuki's doing nowadays?
Oh, I don't know. Not much, I imagine, if Sega's going to mobile,
At least he's not on
predominantly
Kickstarter.
mobile. Not yet.
Not yet. Who
He'll
wants
join.
Outrun free?
Oh no, no, we'll never get him. No, maybe some. I don't know. I'll find some people to talk to.
Actually,
Sega
do you think Yu
enthusiasts.
Suzuki? Hang on just a minute. Do you think Yu Suzuki's got a problem making number threes? Because there's Space Harrier 3, there's Outrun 3, there's Shenmue 3.
But what about Virtua Fighter 5?
Yeah, but he
Did
didn't
he?
really make that after 2.
Oh, okay. He's like
Don't go blowing my theories, Dylan.
he's just
Come
something.
on.
There's something about 3 he just can't do. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, Shenmue 3 makes sense because it just
No,
costs too
Shenmue
much.
3 would be awesome.
Would it though?
Yes.
Would it?
Yes.
You know what Shenmue 3 would do?
What?
It would shine a light on Shenmue's incredibly outdated gameplay.
They wasn't at the time.
No, at the time
amazing.
it was fine. And then Grand Theft Auto 3 came along and
Shut up.
we were like,
Shut
ooh. Hey, I was right there with you. I love that game. I loved Shenmue when it first came out.
I didn't
but
understand it,
but no. Shenmue 3 would be one of those things that everyone asked for, and then when they got it,
you know, the
just
problem with Shenmue wasn't the game; it was the voice acting. I firmly believe it. Honestly, I believe if that had top-notch voice acting, the whole perception of that game would be completely different.
yeah, could have been. Well, makes you wonder. Like, they spent tens of millions of dollars on the game itself, and
Yeah, well, they picked the voice actors on how they looked. Yu Suzuki picked them for how they sounded, right? In English. I'm talking about the English ones here, right? He picked them on how they sounded, but he couldn't speak English.
right.
How crazy is that?
Well, it's as crazy as those Japanglish T-shirts that just string English words together like they're like it's nothing, and they don't make any sense, but they're brilliant. But it's only brilliant on a shirt. It's not brilliant in a game. Yeah. So this has been the Sega Does podcast, episode 23.
Yes,
Uh,
with girls.
with Mrs. Sam, and
Brilliant. That's going to be the title of this episode. Sega Does episode 23 with girls.
with girls. Okay.
Yep. Well, we had girls in Parlour Games.
Yeah, they weren't real, but they were there.
They were there. Legs.
Yes. So
what was that episode? What?
So 23. Sega.
Sega.